Oh, hi friends! It's Julie, and I'm back with another reading vlog. Let's jump right into it. So for this particular reading vlog, I just finished, like 30 minutes ago, my vlog for my YA thrillers and sci-fi books. If you haven't seen that, I'll say I'll link it. I'm not going to. And I was sitting here like, what can I tackle next that's realistic for where I am right now, the amount of time that I have, and the amount of energy that I have. And what I came to was graphic novels. I have this stack of graphic novels. Some of these are single issues. And then this stack of graphic novels, about 12 graphic novels. Some of them are bind up and omnibuses. Some of them are single issues. Sometimes I like to keep these for readathons, but quite frankly, they're just building up, and I want to do an unhaul, so I want to know whether or not I need to keep these. So I'm going to do a reading vlog of all of my unread graphic novels, and I will let you know what I think of the art style, the overall plot, and the execution of issues. I think one of the big things with graphic novels for me is whether or not you leave on a cliffhanger that makes you want to continue reading and enough happens per issue. It's a huge factor for me on whether or not I want to continue with a series. So I'm going to go with art style, overall plot, and cliffhangeredness. Those are going to be my rating criteria. I hope I remember that as I read, but that's what we're going to read as we go through these. I'll probably start with my single issues. I have a couple that look to be more middle grade. I think this is a middle grade. Pretty sure this is a middle grade. Some of those might go to the kids that I nanny for eventually. And then I have some that are a little bit more well known. This giant hardcover omnibus for The Magicians. I have another of my Labyrinth Coronation that I need to read. And then one that it's been sitting here for a very long time. This is one that I don't know very much about. Let's just see what I think about them. I think I'm going to start with these because these are kind of one-offs. I don't know much about them with the exception of Something is Killing the Children. I have volumes 1 and 2 so I can get a little bit more in depth. I also have The Magicians #1, which is, when I went to ALA, they said that this was like a tarot card cover. So there's optional covers. There's like different covers that you can get for this. I don't know. I think that's different than this one because this is a bind up of Alice's stories specifically. This one is just The Magicians in general. I did just finish binge watching The Magicians, so like I know the story now per the show, not the books. I don't know. I really enjoyed the show. I flew through it. So let's get started, and I will check back when I have read Something is Killing the Children, probably volumes 1 and 2. And I'll let you know what I think about the two of those together. This is by James Tynion IV, Werther Dell'Edera. Volume 1 doesn't come out until 5/20/20, although Volume 2 is in third printing. So explain that one to me. This does say number 2 up top. I don't understand how that works. Alright, so we're here with an update on Something is Killing the Children. I have finished both of the issues now. Essentially, this is about a monster that is killing the children. Like, the children just go missing and or are, like, brutally mauled and killed. And a monster hunter is trying to kill whatever monster is killing the children. Because nobody knows what's going on. So anyway, color scheme. Inside of these, it's a very gray-green scaled kind of a color scheme with like hints of red. It's not my favorite kind of art style. I'd probably give it like a 4 out of 5 stars. Not a problem, but not my fave. A lot of like really basic face shapes, not a ton of detail, kind of like abstract-y. In terms of plot, it says 13 and up, and I would maybe debate that. There's a lot of like the use of the F word. There's a lot of fuck. There's a lot of cursing. There's a lot of blood, a lot of gore. We also have a $4.99 or $3.99 cost on each one of these issues, which just feels like really excessive. Because like, while there is plot development in each of them from one to the next, that's a lot of money for these little tiny things. And I understand artwork is not easy to come by and it's a lot of work. Each one of them had like mild cliffhangery endings. I did enjoy them. I don't know that it's my favorite. I don't think it's going to be one that I continue with. It's creepy. Like, it's super kind of creepy, but it's not bad. And again, there was cliffhangeries. So art style, 4 out of 5. Cliffhangery endings, kind of like also 4 out of 5. And overall plot development and arcing, like, things are happening. We're getting somewhere. 4 out of 5. They're not bad. I just don't think it's my kind of graphic novel. Definitely like gore and murder and a lot of yucky yucks. I'm going to go into Once and Future. This one is by Kieran Gillen, Dan Mora, Tamara Bonvillain. Wow, that's a name. This is issue number 1. We're going to see what this one's all about. This one says it comes out or came out on 3/25/20. So this one is already out. This one is $16.99 and teen and up. $16.99. That can't be for this one issue, right? Is that for a bind up? It says page count 160, so it has to be for the bind up. So $16.99 for like an omnibus is fine. It is about a group of nationalists who use ancient artifacts to bring a villain from Arthurian myth back from the dead. A retired monster hunter who pulls unsuspecting grandson into a world of magic and mysticism to defeat the legendary threat. We have officially read Once and Future, and yeah, we've got a badass granny who used to be a treasure hunter, and now people are killing people over treasures and trying to return King Arthur to life. And he could be the cause of Britain's downfall, or he could be a savior of it. I don't really know. Cliffhangerness, meh. 3 out of 5. Art style, not bad, actually. It's pretty good. I like the colors, and it's a lot brighter and a lot richer. I will say I did enjoy that part of it. So I would go ahead and do a 5 out of 5 on art style. I'm down with the art style. Overall plot, 3 out of 5, maybe a 2 out of 5 even. I don't know. I'm not down with the treasure hunting. The whole entire premise of this is like a grandson who, by the way, is like some buff dude who's like full grown. He's kind of good looking. But like Granny is like rolling her own cigarettes, breaking out of like nursing homes, and also fucking shot her grandson. Like, shot him. And is like holding a gun to his back to make him take her where she wants to go. Which seems a little emotionally abusive and ridiculous. So, I don't know if I'm down with Granny, and I don't really get into like the historical Arthurian things, which is, I think, less the actual book, like the actual story's plot failure and just my personal enjoyment of it. I'm not down for that. So a 2 on that one, a 5 on the artwork, and like a 3 on the cliffhangerness. So, I mean, it's not bad. What's that? 5, 10 out of 15. I'm going to get into Sabaa Tahir's A Thief Among the Trees, which is going to be the start of a graphic novel series that follows the Ember and the Ashes trilogy. I've not read book 3, but I assume because this is volume 1, we're not going to run into anything that's spoilery. So it is Sabaa Tahir along with Nicole Andelfinger and Sonia Lau. And it looks like we got a whole bunch of ladies on this one. Pub date on this one is July of 20, unless they push this one back. So I will give you my thoughts and my feelings on this one. The artwork definitely looks kind of like middle grade-y and younger, but that's just on the cover. I think the inside, let's see what the inside looks like. Yeah, the inside I think is more of the same. It's very dark in pages. So like a lot of the pages have incredibly dark color schemes, and then some of the other ones are brighter. But if you look at the faces of our characters, they're very young, which kind of throws me because I don't think our characters in the series are quite that young unless this is a prequel. Also, it does look like the finished one on this one is going to be $19.99. It has 144 pages, so it will be a bind up of more than just this. And it says ages 12 and up, which might be why some of the characters are really young. Elias, Helene, and Tavi are fivers in training to become the elite military recruit for the Marshall Empire at Blackcliff. So this is them when they're still in school, going to school. So it's a prequel to The Ember and the Ashes. It has been a minute because life stuff. But I finished A Thief Among the Trees by Sabatier, and I don't think it's my favorite art style. I don't mind the color scheme, but the actual art style just feels a little bit young to me. In general, I would say on coloring, like 4 out of 5, but on the actual art style, I'm probably going to go 2.5, 3 out of 5. It's not my favorite. In terms of the overall plot, I'm going to go 3 out of 5 as well, because I feel like even having read this series, like the first 2 books of this series, there were parts of this that left me really confused, and they jump right into terminology that is in the books where you would need to understand background, and even knowing that background, it was still a little bit uncertain. So I'm going to go ahead and say like another 3 out of 5 on that one. In terms of like the cliffhanger ending, what would make me want to pick up more? This isn't actually a single issue, it's just a teaser for the entire bind up. I mean, it was fine for like where they chose to cut this off. I think that most people would be intrigued in knowing how it ended. I don't think that this is one that I'm going to pick up for $19.99. This is not something that I feel like I need in my life to contribute to the rest of that story. We're looking at an 8. That's like the lowest. 8 out of 15 has been like the lowest one so far. Then we're going to get into The Magicians by Lev Grossman, Sturgis, Bach, and Quesada. So this one is already out. This one is $3.99, which seems like a standard price for the single issues. And like I said, this is a tarot cover that they were kind of talking about. Let's get into this one, and I'll let you know what I think. I am back with the end of The Magicians, which was just way too short. I did enjoy it though. I would say in terms of art style, like I said, some of it is not my absolute favorite, but probably like a 4 out of 5. I do like the tones. I do like the colors that were used. I did enjoy that. The fact that we have in this book stuff that is definitely different than the show is kind of cool. Like knowing a little bit of the source material was really neat, but I do think that it is different enough that even going in not knowing anything, you could still follow this. There's a lot of dialogue, there's a lot kind of going on, so in terms of plot, I actually really enjoyed the arc and the way that the story came together. There's still obviously a lot to be uncovered and a lot going on, but it ended on a really good cliffhanger in terms of making you want to pick up the next one. I think it did a really great job all around. Really diverse. There's some character stuff going on that I would be excited to know more about. So it's one that I would actually even continue with, which hasn't happened yet. I actually really enjoyed it. So art style 4, plot 5, cliffhanger 4. So we're looking at 8 plus 5 is 13 out of 15. I think I might actually start with R.L. Stine's Just Beyond by Kelly and Nicole Matthews. This one is $9.99 for like an R.L. Stine middle grade. I don't think that's as bad. This might be the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I'm DNFing a graphic novel. I don't want to read this. I will say that it ends here. So there is a big chunk at the end of this that's it's like a teaser for another graphic novel by R.L. Stine. So it's only this big and $9.99. I'd say that's like a sizable 20-page chunk, but it jumps in and it starts and I can't follow it. I have no idea what's happening. It's incredibly confusing. The art style is all right. I don't love the text bubble format, and I legitimately plot-wise have zero clue what's happening. I got probably as many pages as there are in the back for that teaser. I don't want to read it. So I'm not going to read this. I'm going to DNF it, and I'm going to definitely pass it along, but I'm not even going to pass it along to the kids that I know, because I don't think that they're going to enjoy it, quite frankly. So I'm going to move on to this Feathers and see what this one says. Born covered in black feathers and abandoned as a baby in the slums of the maze, Poe has lived his entire 11-year-old life hidden away underneath the protection of his adoptive father. So it is a middle grade. We'll see how this one does. Maybe we can finally get a win for a middle grade. I can't believe I DNF'd a graphic novel, but I genuinely just didn't want to push myself through it. So there's that. Let's see how we feel about Feathers. we have an update. Apparently, I hate graphic novels that are middle grade. I cannot get into this. This is supposed to be like a loose Beauty and the Beast kind of a retelling, and for whatever reason, this is super not working for me. I got like a chunk of the way through, but I just don't care. It's not even, the art style is like okay, but the storyline is just not cutting it for me. And it's really, really, really wordy for a middle grade. Maybe it's me, but this is not what I came here for. And I ended up like sitting here for days not filming this vlog because I was trying to read this, and I don't want to do that to myself. I'm not enjoying it, so I'm not going to read it. So I started The Backstagers by James Tynion IV, Ryan Saw, and Walter Baiamonte. I mean, I'm not very far into it, but I'm certainly reading it a lot easier than the middle grade I just tried to pick up. So, you know, there's that. This is $15. Is $15 too much for these like bind ups? Maybe, I don't know. I'm not here for a price debate, but so far so good. I'll let you know when I've continued to read this, but I'm enjoying what I've read so far. Good morning. You're getting a true morning voice and true morning face. I woke up like this. I wanted to update you on The Backstagers, which I did finish yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. It was really cute. I liked the colors, but again, you have some of the characters that have like these really simplistic faces. I don't love that as much. Maybe a 4 for art style. Plot, arc, and development, I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5. I liked it a whole bunch. And then for cliffhangery-ness, maybe like a 4. No real complaints. There was like some cute little moments and flirting, and just like a cute storyline. I liked this one. I liked this one a lot. I was starting to get a little bit worried because why did those middle grades not work for me? I don't know, but they really didn't. This one was great. And then I have The Girl from the Himalayas by David Jesus Vignoli. Sorry, the sun is coming in and out, and the sun's all I got on right now. I don't have the lights on. I don't know a ton about this. It's, I believe, about people that come in and start to take like people's lands. There's more to being human than violence. Her new family fears beyond their borders. Protected from the chaos of man is a home to immortal beings and mystical creatures, and then man starts coming in and putting that at risk. So that's what this is. And the person at BEA, like forever ago, really, really spoke highly of it. Alright, I am back with an update. I finished A Girl in the Himalayas, and it was so sweet. Basically about a girl who's a victim of violence, and her village is attacked, her parents are killed, and a god comes in and steps in to protect her. And by doing so, loses his immortality, and he takes her to this sanctuary of, like, old gods and creatures and magical creatures with the hopes that they can take this child who is incredibly pure and precious and send her back out into the world of humans and try to help them change their ways. It was incredibly adorable. The art style is very simple. The color palette is very simple. The story is really heartfelt, and I actually really, really enjoyed it. So I haven't been rating any of my graphic novels in terms of like Goodreads, but I would say the color palette and the art style is so simple, but it works for the story. So I'm gonna give it a 5. The plot was a 5. There's no like cliffhanger at the end because it's just a complete graphic novel. It's not a series, so I can't say like what it would have been like. That's one of the things that I really base off of when you're doing like an omnibus or like individual series or individual issues. But this one's just a whole story in and of itself, and in general it definitely keeps you reading. So I'm gonna give this a full 15 out of 15. I really liked it. It was really, really great. All the heart eye emojis for this one, I liked it. And then I'm going to move on to The Magicians, but this is specifically Alice's story. This one is by Lila Sturgis and Pius Bach. This one is $27 for this hardcover bind up. It's very, very nice. And this one is put out by Boom. This one I flipped through a little bit, and there is like naked booty. There's a little bit of a sexy scene. I don't think it's like full-blown explicit. The last little tiny issue was like not a storyline I knew at all. I'm hoping this character follows at least a little bit of what the show did so that I can understand it a little bit more. I'm sure it probably goes more off the books, but in general, I'm excited for this. Alice is a very intriguing character. I don't know how much she is or is not in the actual books, but she was in the show quite a bit. So I'm going to move on to this bad boy. Guys, I can't even tell you how many times while vlogging I dropped this camera. It is a beast. It's a full-blown champ because I beat it up so much. Anyway, I wanted to update you because I have been reading The Magicians, Alice's story, and this follows very closely the show. I'm kind of loving that, but I am really enjoying this. I'm definitely taking it slow. I'm not rushing through it. I'm just reading in my spare time. I don't have a lot of spare time is what I'm getting at, but I am making my way through this. I actually really, really like the art style, and I like the color palette. We're getting a lot of these like greens and darker hues. I like the way that the characters are depicted. This is shaping up to be a 15 here. We're gonna see how it works in the end, but I'm really truly enjoying it. 9 o'clock at night on the 23rd, and I just finished The Magicians, Alice's story, and it is the show. The story arc was pretty great. I did like the art style. The art style is definitely not what's like on the cover. On the inside, 5s all around. I'm gonna give it a 15. I'm gonna give it like a solid all the way liked it. So there's that. For this one and The Girl in the Himalayas, I might go ahead and rate them on Goodreads. I've not rated the other ones, but I might go ahead and rate these. I'm gonna read Labyrinth Coronation, book 2. I'm gonna read that. And then that's gonna be the last one for my graphic novel bind up because I think I have read all of my other graphic novels. These are all of the unread ones. And it is $26.99 from Boom. It is suggested for mature readers, and I would say that's a good call because there's some sexy times, there's cursing. Man, listen, just because it's purple doesn't mean it's going to be pretty. I am about to start my Labyrinth Coronation. I will say these are wordy. These take a while to get through. I'll flip through a little bit for you. This is another Boom Studios. I love Boom's graphic novels so much. This bind up is very art heavy. Like, you can tell it's labor intensive art. Not that all art isn't. Anyway, this is a $24.99 bind up. I'm going to give you a little flip through and then I'm going to start reading. But you guys know I love The Labyrinth and I love my Jareth. So I'm excited to get into volume number 2. And then we're going to wrap up this graphic novel reading vlog. Hello friends, I'm here with the end of my graphic novel reading vlog. I don't think anybody's surprised, but I'm giving this 5 out of 5 stars. The first one was a little bit hard to get into. This one really flowed. The pace was really quick and the artwork is just phenomenal. You guys saw on the flip through. It is amazing. 5 out of 5 for artwork, 5 out of 5 for plot arc, and 5 out of 5 for cliffhanger-y ending, because these are like kind of larger bind-ups, but they do have like a continuation of the series, and there was a cliffhanger at the end of this one that I really like. I also kind of like the dual timelines and the way the story is being told. It's just a great little addition for my like Labyrinth loving heart, because I don't want it to be over and I always want new stuff from it. And the artwork is just stunning. Well done. 5 out of 5 to this. I think I gave Backstagers pretty high one. The Girl from the Himalayas got pretty high. And what else? Oh, The Magicians was really high. The single issues, unsurprisingly, not really my thing, which is fine. That's whatever. But yeah, I'm really glad that I finally got to these. Are they great to keep for readathons? Yeah, they are, but I just wanted to know what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to get rid of. So a lot of the things that I didn't really jive with went into my unhaul pile, and I know that I can get rid of those. Not that they're taking up a ton of room. That's going to be it for my reading graphic novel reading vlog. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any other amazing graphic novel recommendations, because I'm always in the market for them. Always. If you liked this one, and I hope you did, please do be sure to give me a big thumbs up, click subscribe, and I'm going to see all of you in my next video. Bye, guys.